Biden-Harris White House hit with lawsuit for censoring Americans online. There we have another lawsuit. I know there was one that was done before, and the judge shot it down, basically saying that they really didn't have any evidence. But even though we have a lot of evidence, but now we got it from the horse's mouth. Mark Zuckerberg actually came out and admitted that the government pressured him to censor people. So we'll see if this lawsuit actually goes anywhere. We're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account as well. So follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. All right, now this comes from Slay News' Nick R. Hamilton, and he reports that the White House has been hit with the lawsuit over allegations that President Joe Biden and Democrat presidential nominee Kamala Harris used a proxy to demand social media companies censor the American people online. Again, we got actual proof now. An updated lawsuit alleges a covert influence by the Biden-Harris administration on social media censorship concerning COVID-19 discourse, Just the News reported. A former journalist has initiated a legal action accusing Biden, Harris, and other top officials of coercing social platforms to censor his COVID-19 content. The lawsuit is backed by fresh evidence involving ex-White House advisor Andy Slavitt. The plaintiff, Alex Berenson, a former New York Times journalist, has redirected claims against the Biden-Harris administration. He alleges that higher echelons, including Biden and Harris, have exercised undue influence over social media entities to suppress his dissenting views on COVID-19 management. The controversy shines a light on the intricate relations between government advisories and platform regulations. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's statement from 2021 have resurfaced, indicating persistent pressures from senior White House officials to moderate pandemic-related content unfavorably viewed by the administration. This has triggered significant scrutiny of the administration's interaction with large tech companies and the extent of their influence. I mean, I've got a whole playlist dedicated to the Twitter files where we have actual proof of them going in and telling people to shut these people down and censor people and delete these channels. Like, we have the evidence of it. That's why I don't understand why the first case got thrown out in the first place. But the thrust of Berenson's complaint centers around the role of Andy Slavitt. Slavitt previously advised the White House on its COVID-19 response. Allegations suggested that he continued to liaise with Facebook to shape the narrative around the pandemic even after resigning in June 2021. Slavitt's purported actions form a cornerstone of the legal challenges raised by Berenson. Berenson's lawsuit taps into recent Supreme Court deliberations which address the unconstitutional nature of governmental pressure on social media platforms. This judicial backdrop provides a legal framework excuse me, for examining the claims against the administration's alleged encroachment on editorial freedoms. Documents highlighted within the lawsuit revealed that Slavitt maintained post-tenure communications with key administration figures such as White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain and Surgeon General Vivek Murthy. This purported continuation of influence raises questions about the ethical boundaries of former public officials engaging with powerful social media platforms. Further complicating the public outlook of these interactions, Slavitt's podcast, which often features influential figures, receives sponsorship from Pfizer. Conflict of influence, you think? Slavitt's ties to COVID mRNA vaccine manufacturers add layers of potential conflicts of interest to his continued involvement with public health communications. Nick Clegg, a senior figure at Meta, recounted dealing with Slavitt during the 2021. Clegg painted a picture of a back channel where governmental expectations were clearly communicated to the platform. Remember, they had a Slack. They had a whole entire Slack over at Twitter. In one such interaction, Slavic pushed for transparency from Facebook regarding the spread of COVID-19 narratives, a move seen by critics as an attempt to manipulate informational flow. Despite his resignation, Slavic portrayed himself as still actively consulting with health and government bodies about pandemic strategies, affirming his ongoing role in a podcast statement. This ongoing engagement underscores the intricate network bridging governmental policy and platform governance. Facebook, meanwhile, continues to censor content it deems controversial, including reducing restrictions on President Trump's accounts amidst political recalibrations. This highlights the dynamic nature of content governance on social media platforms, reflecting broader geopolitical and public health context. Observers like Gerald Morgan have criticized these ongoing dialogues as indicative of a deeper inclination to control narrative, suggesting a systematic bias in how information is presented to the public. And that's obviously what's going on here. They are curtailing what you see to propagandize the information that the government approves. They will put forth, but anything that's counter narrative, they want to get rid of. They want to censor. They want to blacklist and things like that. But these actions raise pertinent questions about the balance between public welfare and freedom of speech, and the lawsuit has ignited a broader conversation about the roles and responsibilities of tech giants in moderating content while ensuring transparency and fairness. As platforms adjust their policies in response to legal and social pressures, the outcome of this lawsuit may well set precedents for future interactions between government entities and social media networks. As the case progresses, the eyes of both the public and legal experts remain keenly fixed on how deep governmental lines are drawn in the digital sand of social media platforms. I don't think government should be dealing with social media whatsoever, anything aside from the few regulations that they have when it comes to these media outlets, these social media outlets. They should have absolutely no contact whatsoever. There should be no backdoors. There should be no slacking back and forth. This is supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to put forth and express your own thoughts, your own opinions, your own ideals without fear of government censorship. That is illegal, point blank, period. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.